Hello, family. I want to thank God. I want to thank Jesus Christ. I want to thank Holy Spirit for another day and the angels and for another opportunity to spread love to my family and to whoever views this video. God is so awesome. Through the struggles, through the good times, through the bad times. I'm kind of opposite than a lot of people. A lot of people turn to God when, things are rough. I tend to try to lean on myself more, and when things are better, I'm all up into God, and so I'm growing in that area. But I've just noticed that in observation, with a lot of people, because when anything happens, good, I'm all up into God. It's like thank you God, because I know where it comes from, I know who I am. So it ain't about I know where my strength comes from, and it's been a struggle. It's the last few days, the heat's been turned up on me, and it's been hard, and I folded a few times, but I ain't giving up. I ain't gonna never give up. Shoot, I got work to do for my Father in heaven. Ain't nothing gonna stop that. I don't care how many times I fall. And God, he's so awesome. He works. I mean, when you see things through your spiritual eyes, any situation that you go through, you can pull a positive out of it. The positives that I've pulled out of this struggle these last few days, and the missteps I've made, which aren't which missteps, because I've turned into a positive. I've grown closer to God. I thought, I was at a level of not caring what people thought about me. Now I'm at an even deeper level of relying on God and not caring about what people think or say about me. I'm so all up into God right now. My relationship with God is tight, baby. I mean, mm. And Holy Spirit and Jesus, they don't judge you because things are going to happen in God's time. That's why Holy Spirit said, just don't give up. Just don't give up. You know, things going to happen in God's time. Dealing with addiction, it's not, unless a person's dealt with it, they don't understand. It's not just a physical, mental disease. It's a spiritual disease. So it takes God to help you overcome. And then on top of that, God has a plan. God has a plan for my life, for when I finally break totally free from this, and He has a plan for your life, for the things that you struggle with. I know people judge me, and say, you need to quit, you need to quit. Well, uh, wow, I've been trying to quit all my life. Since the first time at the treatment center. But people, they since they could quit, they think it's, well, just not trying hard enough. But there are things that you might struggle with that I don't have a problem with. But I don't, look at you as less than, because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and that's one thing I love about Jesus and Holy Spirit and God. You know, they they encourage you. They don't judge you. And every time I feel down in the dumps, they pep me up with, like, I don't judge you. I'm here to love you and encourage you to not give up. Just keep striving. When God told me, he said tell people to be the best version of themselves. He didn't say you had to be perfect and do things in man's time. It's going to happen when God says it's going to happen. All you have to do is give effort. And where we fall short, hey, God got us. God's got you. God's got me. Like Holy Spirit said, just don't give up. Just keep moving forward. Just keep reaching. Just keep reaching for God. Keep reaching for truth. Just it's like Harold said. He said, pray and meditate every morning and every night. You know, first thing you get up, and the last thing you do when you go to bed. And he said, next thing just try to do the next right thing. And of course, no one's going to be perfect in doing the next right thing, because there are areas where we need to grow. There are areas that we're strong, and there's areas that we're weak. And we just need to work on strengthening those areas where we're weak. And in that, we have help. We have spiritual help. It's like Holy Spirit said, don't give up. I don't judge you. I love you. I'm here to encourage you. Man might judge you, but I don't. And it's cool, man, when you got God, backing you, and you may not be perfect, but you still giving it your best, because God knows. God knows your heart. He knows my heart. He knows my effort. He knows your effort. And so the strength that I get from God, man. And we're gonna do this thing. Ain't nothing gonna stop me from accomplishing God's will for my life. I am God's mouthpiece, and I will accomplish the mission that He sent me here to do. And on top of that, I will honor the pact that me and my wife made before we came to earth. And I will honor the decree that I made to God when He took me out my body. And I told Him, Lord, I'm going to do my best to change this world from one person at a time to love. Because when God moves on you and He shows you things and He reveals who you are at a deeper level, you're not the same. And the only one that noticed that was my grandmother and Harold, of course, Harold and my therapist. Like I said, my therapist, she said, you're the only uh, client that I had that stuck with the prayer and meditation long enough to have the experience. So she was waiting for me to have the experience. She didn't tell me. She just like, just don't give up, because I didn't realize. Like I said, I was seeking God's face, and I realized, meditation is listening to God, because you have to go beyond your mind. You can't, like I said, when you meditate on something, you're still using your mind. But when you allow yourself to let those thoughts go and just get back to being present in the moment, that's where that's where the action is. That's where God works. The mind and the ego can't operate in the present moment. Its power is in the past and in the present. I mean, in the past and in the future. It don't have no power in the present moment. That's why it fights so hard to keep you from being present. And when you're present, the presence is a presence. That's what you feel God in the moment. You don't feel, and God activates or talks to you in a moment. He don't talk to you in the past or in the future. He talks to you in a moment. That's why this other book that the last one of the books that God laid on me was the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And man, that book is the closest to how I see things than any other book I've read. Of course, I know there's other books out there that I've not read, but as far as the ones I've read, his book, The Power of Now, and it's so awesome. There's another book that God laid on me too, that helped me, and it was by what's her name? I think it was Shirley Ford. I think uh, it was a Dark Side of the Light Chaser, and it's about looking at your negatives and getting a positive out of it. And one way of it that I'm still drawing positive out of dealing with this addiction. If I hadn't dealt with this addiction, I wouldn't have been able to have the strength or the mindset to be able to keep moving forward, because I've been broke down so many times and had to start over so many times. And so these attacks that I've been going through for the past 3 years, uh, you know, uh, and then of course relationship with God, but it's giving me tools to be able to keep moving forward, to keep getting up, because I've had to get up so many times, dealing with this addiction. So it's made me stronger in areas, but people, they see me as being weak. But if you don't go through stuff, how strong are you really? How strong is your chain when you have links that you haven't strengthened? You're only strong as your weakest link. So and there's gifts in the negative things in your life. And if you look deeper enough for them, instead of putting it in a closet and not paying attention to it, when you pull it out the closet and give energy to it, uh, there's gifts in it. Just like dealing with depression. You know, so my therapist Shirley, she said, you can. I said, I don't want to take any antidepressant medicine because with the addiction, I said I got enough drugs in my body. I don't want to. And plus, I don't want to deal with the side effects. And she said, well, you can run and get your second wind, and it'll stay with you for 3 days. So if you could run every 3 days, and get your second wind, you can try that and not take the antidepressants. I said, okay. So I started doing that, and what it does, it releases endorphins, and endorphins stay with you. And so, I started doing that. And so in doing that for the past 30 something years, it's kept me healthy. So that's how, it's one way of looking at a negative. People look at depression as being a negative, but you could draw positive out of it if you look deep enough, or if you, research it and see, with the mindset of what can I get out of this that's positive. You know, that's how because in every situation, you know, there's a positive if you look deep enough for it. And you know, and if you look at it through the eyes of the spirit. And so, you know, it's like that other book I read. You know, there's a spiritual solution to every problem, but you have to look deeper. You know, the mind don't want to look deeper. The mind has programmed. You know, we've been programmed for birth. You know, by our families, church, and school, and you know, society. You know, and to judge and lie and not be truthful and honest. You know, you have to. You know, it's a doggy dog world, but not really. This is a goddy God world. You know, the truth is where the power is. You know, but you got to, you know, when you go with truth, you know, it hurts. You know, sometimes being truthful. You know, it scars that ego, but when you're scarring the ego, you're growing closer to God because you're building faith when you're truthful. Especially when it hurts, and when you hurt for truth, you're hurting with Jesus. Jesus said, "Be grateful that you know that you suffer with me, because you're gonna get gifts in heaven when you die." You know, I'm getting mine. You know, I don't care what man say. I don't care how people look at me and what they say. I know who I am. I'm God's son, and I'm God's mouthpiece, and His will be done. We're gonna do this thing. But you know, I just want to say, I love you all, and this thing, God's will be done, and I will accomplish what God sent me here to do, no matter what. And I love you, and I just hope people jump on this train and don't get run over. And you know, the people that are attacking me, uh, I pray for them. They fighting a losing battle. They're on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side. They can't beat me. I got God and the angels and Jesus and Holy Spirit backing me. We're gonna get this thing done. But anyway, I love you all. I have you all in my prayers, and have a blessed day. Bye bye.